Okay, in this video we're going to finish talking about adding and subtracting fractions through drawing pictures. That's what we did last time, so I wanted to show you what addition and subtraction would look with one of the manipulatives we have talked about this semester. So we're going to focus on Cuisenaire rods. So this is page 191, so we're just continuing right where we left off in the last video. So it says, when modeling addition on Cuisenaire rods, it is important that the sum of two numbers shows the total length represented by the fractions. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, number one, Misty had 1/3 of a king-size Rolo candy bar. Jeff had 1/2 of a king-size Rolo candy bar. If they put their Rolo candy bars together, how much of a whole Rolo candy bar did they make? So first of all, we need to know what the whole is going to be, or what the unit is going to be. So here it's suggesting that we make dark green our unit. So if I take a dark green, I'm going to kind of model it up here and then we're going to draw it at the same time. So dark green would represent one full candy bar. So if I kind of match this up, it doesn't quite match up perfectly, but so this is the dark green. So I'll just write dark green in here. So this is representing one full candy bar. So we always want to draw that first as a reference. Okay, so then it says model 1/3 under that unit. So if this is 1, which color would split this into 3 equal pieces? So let's see, is it going to be, I believe it's going to be red. So let's just check. Okay, so it takes 3 reds to make the dark green. So one of them, 1/3, would be looking like this. So there's the red that is 1/3. Okay, and then we want to combine that with 1/2 of a candy bar. So which color would be 1/2 of a full candy bar? So I think that is the light green. So let's just check. So 2 light greens makes the full candy bar. So one of them would be 1/2. So we want to just put that right next to our red one. So it's going to look something like that. So here's our light green. Now in order to get our answer, we want to change both fractions to a common color. So we have this red piece and this light green piece. We can't add them because they're different colors. They're different size pieces. So what color can we use to split them into that would be the same size? So you should be able to use the white units. So let's see. So white, if I convert them into white, we would have 2 whites here. So that would be the fraction 2 out of, it would take 6 of them to make the whole candy bar. And then light green, let's see. I don't really have a lot of these with me today, but light green would convert into 3 of the white units. Okay, so our answer, the total would be, we have 5 white pieces, and it would take 6 of those white pieces to make the full candy bar. So I don't actually have a 6th one to show you, but you can envision like one more white block would fit right there. Okay. All right, so let's see. It says write the complete number sentence including fractions represented by the common color and label your answer. So what did we just do? We had 1/3 of a candy bar, and we combined that with 1/2 of a candy bar. And we had to convert those into same size pieces. So we had the white blocks made it 2 out of 6. And for the light green, that converted to 3 out of 6 would be the full candy bar. So our answer is going to be, we have 5 out of 6 total. So 5/6 of a candy bar. Okay. All right, moving on to number 2. it says use an orange unit to represent the sum of 1/2 and 2/5. Also write a word problem to correspond with it. The unit is the first line, both fractions side by side on the second, and then the third line is the common color. Okay, so just like what we just did. So we need a context first of all. So we want to do 1/2 and 2/5. So let's say Josh has 1/2 of a gallon of, let's say apple juice. It's like Halloween season, so it's fall, so apples. So 1/2 gallon of apple juice. And then what else? He buys 2/5 of a gallon of apple juice because he can't get enough, I guess. So how many gallons does he have now? All right, so again, we need to pick a unit. So here's the hint. We need something that we would be able to split into halves and fifths, which is why it is picking orange as our unit. So, see here, does that match up? Yeah, okay. So that should be 10 units long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So orange is going to be our whole. That would be 1 full gallon of apple juice. And then what else? So we were starting with 1/2 of a gallon. So which color would split this perfectly in half? And I believe that's going to be yellow. So remember, you can find these Cuisenaire rods on the website I posted a few weeks ago. I'll repost it in the Canvas for this week, so you can try these out if you haven't used them lately. So yellow would be 1/2. Okay, and then he buys 2/5. So which color is splitting the whole, the orange, into 5 equal parts? So I believe that's the red. And again, I don't have enough red exactly to show you, but you can imagine here's 4 of them. So there would be the 5th one hanging out on the end. So 2/5 means I have 2 of the 5 pieces I need. So 2/5 is going to look like this. And again, I would prefer if you used 2 reds instead of the equivalent, which I believe would be purple. So just so that I know that you know that 2/5 is 2 red pieces out of 5 red pieces it takes to make the whole. All right, so then again, we would need to cut this into same sized pieces. So let's just see, let's see, what would split yellow and red into same size pieces? I think again it has to be the white. So, and again, remember I don't have enough, well, I do have enough pieces for this. Let's see. Okay, so for yellow, yellow is equivalent to 5 of the white units. Okay, and then if I move them over, so technically these should be staying here, but like I said, I don't have enough pieces to show you. But each of the reds would be 2 whites a piece. Okay, so envision that they're all here like they're supposed to be. All right, so our final answer then would be, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 whites, and it would take 10 of those in order to make the orange. So our answer should be 9/10. So let me see if that is on the back side. Yes. Okay, so this one carried over to the back. So what did we just do? We had 1/2 of a gallon of juice, and we added 2/5 of a gallon. We converted 1/2 into white Cuisenaire rods. So there were 5 out of 10. And then the 2/5, remember there were 4 white rods. So we have 5/10 of a gallon plus 4/10 of a gallon. So that made 9 white units, and it would take 10 of them to make that orange, which was the whole. So 9/10 of a gallon. Okay. All right. Next, number 3. So it says, write a word problem, choose a unit size, and complete all of the steps necessary. So here we're doing everything we need to do. So we have 1/2 plus 5/8. So let's say I have 1/2 a yard of yellow string, or maybe yarn would be a better word. And then I have 5/8 yard of blue string or blue yarn. So how many yards of string or yarn do I have total? Okay, so for this one, we now have to pick our unit. So what size Cuisenaire rod should we be using? So again, here's a hint. We need something that can be split into halves, as well as something that could be split into 8ths. So there's a couple of things we could do, but why don't we try just the unit that is 8 units long, which I think is the brown. So let's just use 8ths. So brown, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be our units. All right. And then let's see, so half. So which color is half of the size of brown? So I think that should be purple. So I was counting in my head. So let's see, 2 purples make a brown. So brown would be, or half would be the purple rod. So purple is half the size of the brown. So we could draw that one. And then we need 5/8. So which color would split this brown into 8 equal parts? So that should be the white unit. And again, remember I don't have enough of these to show you, so I'll try and maybe spread them out a little. Let's see. So if you can envision having all the white cubes right there, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 5 of the 8. Okay, so that'll look something like that. Move my paper over a little. Okay, so 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then again, we need to convert into same size pieces. So purple, if I also convert those into the white rod, that would be 4 of them. So you would have the 4 here. And the white ones are already white units, so they would just carry down. So okay, so what is our answer? So we have half of a yard of string plus 5/8 of a yard of string, and we had to convert the 1/2 into 4/8. So we converted that into white. The white pieces stayed the same, so there are still 5/8 of them. And so then our answer from the picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. And then it takes 8 of them to make 1 full yard. So answer should be 9/8. Or if you want to reduce that, that is 1 full brown unit plus 1 unit more. So 1/8 more. So 1 and 1/8. All right. So there are 3 examples of addition. So let's move on to what subtraction would look like with these Cuisenaire rods. Okay, so for number 4, so it says Bob used 5/6 of a pound of nails to install his windows on his house. Dave used 1/4 of a pound of nails to install his windows. So how much more of a pound of nails did Bob use? So remember, we have 2 different ways that we can model subtraction. So we have the takeaway and the comparison. And we learned last time that comparison tends to be easier to draw pictures pictures for fractions. That's what I'm trying to say. So in this situation, this is a comparison word problem. So you have Bob's amount, you have Dave's amount. They're not exchanging. So if they were trading hands, like if Bob was giving nails to Dave, then that would be a separate problem, which would be modeled by takeaway. But this is a comparison, so we're going to model a comparison. So, A, it says we are going to use an orange-red unit to be our whole this time. So we need something we can split into 6ths and 4ths. So we're going to use orange-red, because how long would an orange-red be? That would be 10 units and then 2 more. So that's a total of 12, which should nicely split into 6ths and 4ths. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay. So here's the orange, here's the red. So this is equivalent to 1 pound of nails. All right, and then it says model 5/6 on the second line. So which color would split this full piece into 6 equal parts? So that should be the red. So remember, again, I don't have enough red pieces to show you, but remember this would be 3. So if I steal this one, so 4, it would take 5 to split up the orange, and then there would be a 6th one to make the red. So 5/6 would be 5 of these red pieces out of the 6 it would take to make the full orange-red unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5/6. Okay. All right, so then it says, since the subtraction meaning we use as comparison, where do you think 1/4 will go? So where in this picture or this diagram or this model should we be putting the 1/4? So with addition, we always put it right here because we were extending the length, adding to it. But if we're trying to compare right now, 1/4 is going to end up going below. So we can compare the length of these 3, or these 5, I should say, to whatever the length of 1/4 is going to be. All right, so, okay, sorry, I had to pause my video for a second. So 1/4. So which color would split orange-red into 4 equal parts? So that should be, I believe, purple. Is it going to be purple or light green? Maybe it's light green. Let me see. I'm going to do this on the fly, so let's see. Oh, yeah, it is light green. So light green takes 4 of them to make orange-red. So 1/4 is going to be 1 of them. So we're going to put 1/4 right there below. Excuse me. All right. So then now, here's the trick. I have to see what's on the next page. All right. So then D says, you will ask the question, how much longer is 5/6 than 1/4? That answer will be shown by expressing the difference with additional Cuisenaire rods. Okay, so if we go back to our picture, sorry, that's on the other page. So here's what our picture is. So our answer is going to be this gap, right? So how much longer do we need? So what color do you think we could fill in right there to figure out this distance? So I would probably use the white pieces since they're the smallest and easiest. So if we fill this in, so we have 1 white, 2 white, 3 white, 4 white, 5 white, 6 white, 7 white. So this part would be our answer. It's the gap. So let me just highlight this so you remember. Okay, that is how much longer 5/6 is compared to 1/4. Okay, so this is going to be our answer. Okay, so what is our answer? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white pieces. Out of how many white pieces would it take to make the whole? So orange, red, there would be 12 of them. So our answer should be 7/12. Okay, so we're going to write that on this next page right here. So let's see, we started with 5/6 of it was nails, so a pound of nails plus, oh, sorry, we're not doing addition anymore. So minus, we're comparing, 1/4 of a pound. And here's something nice is we didn't have to convert them into same size pieces since we were just filling the gap. So we can get directly to the answer that we had 7 white out of 12 white it would take to make the whole pound. Okay, so no common denominators needed. All right, number 5 says, write a word problem for 1.5 minus 5/6 using a comparison. So again, let's see. How about Cameron ran 1.5 miles and Mariah ran 5/6 of a mile. So the question would be, how much further did Cameron run? Okay, so again, we need to model, first of all, what the whole is going to be. So we need 1.5. So this is telling us to use a dark green as the unit. So it says we can model 1.5 either using one whole and then half of another, or we can do 3 halves. So we have a couple of choices. So if dark green is going to be the whole, we could either do this. So we can use dark green and then the color that is half of dark green, which is light green. So we could do this. Or 1.5 is equivalent to 3 halves. So since dark green is the same thing as 2 light greens, we could also just model this as 3 light greens out of the 2 light greens it takes to make the whole. So whatever you prefer to do. So maybe I will go ahead and just use all light green. So you can do whatever you want. So light green, light green, light green. Okay, so that's going to be, remember this is 1.5. So remember 1 is just going to be 2 of these. All right, so, so I messed up. Do you know what I did? I forgot to model just what one whole is going to look like. So my apologies. So what this model should actually look like, right? I should have started by drawing what 1 was going to look like. So let me just try and jam that right here in the top. So dark green, I skipped a step. So dark green is 1. And then we model our first number underneath that, 1.5. Okay, so you can fix that on your paper if you want. All right, so then Mariah ran 5/6 of a mile. So which color splits dark green into 6 equal parts? So that should be white. So let's just check. So again, I only have 5 of them, so pretend, oh, and they keep falling off. So pretend there is a 6th one right there. So 5/6 would be 5 white ones. Okay, so our answer, we're trying to find the comparison. How much further did Cameron go than Mariah? So Cameron went this much further, whatever is in this little gap right here. So again, I would suggest using the white pieces. So let me just make this a little darker so we can tell this is what we started with. So we would want to add additional white pieces here. So let me just kind of try that with the pieces I do have. So you would have 4 more, right? So 1, 2, 3. It would take 4 more white. So this would be our answer. Okay, so writing the complete number sentence, we started with 1.5 miles, and we were comparing it to 5/6 of a mile, and we just determined the extra. It was 4 white pieces, and it takes how many white pieces to make the whole, which was the dark green? So that should be 6 of them. So our answer should be 4/6 of a mile. Which would reduce down to be 2/3 if you wanted to. Okay. All right, one last problem involving Cuisenaire rods. It says, write a word problem using the separate meaning and complete the model and number sentence for 1 1/3 minus 3/4. So see if you can figure out how to correctly model a separate problem. So what is separating going to look like? Well, again, we need to start with a whole, what 1 is going to be. So we need something that we can split into thirds and fourths. So I might, again, suggest doing orange-red as a whole. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 2 more. Okay, so that's going to be our whole. All right, so we need a word problem. So let's see, I have 1 1/3 pumpkin pies. Again, it's, well, now I'm thinking ahead to Thanksgiving, even though we haven't had Halloween yet. So if I have 1 1/3 pumpkin pies, and then my friends eat 3/4 of a pie, how much pie is left? Okay, so something like that. All right, so we want to model 1 1/3. So 1 is just going to be exactly the same thing. And then what color would be 1/3 of the size? So let me just model this. There's 1 full pumpkin pie. So then 1/3. What color would split this into 1/3? So I think it's purple. So let me check. So we would have purple would look, yes. So 1 1/3 would be looking like this. Okay, now, since we are trying to show separating, which is like take away, how would we take away 3/4 of the pie? So, first of all, we need to figure out how big 3/4 is. So 3/4, which color would split this into 4 equal parts? Is that going to be, let's see, that's a light green, right? So light green. So we would be taking away 3/4 of a pie. So that would be 3 light greens. So where do you suppose that is going to go in the model? Well, if we're taking away, we need to show that we're removing that much. So it's going to have to go right on top of each other. So it's almost like, okay, we're taking away that green piece. We're taking away that green piece. And then we're taking away that green piece. So if we remove the green pieced part, our answer is going to be whatever's left over. So it's this little bit of orange, the red, and the purple. So our answer should be right here. All right, so what is that going to be? So we need same size pieces in order to make an answer. So again, I would suggest using white. So we have the one white piece would be here. And then we should be able to have 2 white pieces for the red. And then purple would convert into, again, I don't have enough pieces, but that would be, what, 4 of them if I scoot these down a little. So 4 there. All right, so what are we doing? We have 1 1/3 pies, and we're eating 3/4 of a pie. So what is our answer? We were left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white pieces. And it takes how many of those white pieces to make a full pie, which was orange red? So that should be 12 if you count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our answer should be 7/12 of a pie. All right, so that is how we can use Cuisenaire rods to model addition and subtraction. Okay, so then in our next video, we're moving on to talking about multiplication and division.